All right, I want you to imagine, just for a second, that you're a teenager who spent the last few years meticulously learning graphic design. Or, maybe you're a college student who has literally spent countless late nights agonizing over coding syntax. Or perhaps you're a veteran customer support worker and you're finally feeling like, okay, my career is secure. And then, seemingly out of absolutely nowhere, AI arrives. Almost overnight, within just mere months, you start seeing these terrifying phrases shouted all over the internet. People saying, AI can do this in 10 seconds, or this job is completely dead and humans are finished. I mean, it's an absolute tidal wave of panic, right? But somewhere deep underneath all that loud, breathless internet hype, millions of everyday people are quietly starting to wonder about their own future.
And it all really boils down to this one staggering question. What happens if machines become better than me at making money? It's kind of a terrifying thought, honestly. But we really have to acknowledge that this is no longer just some sci-fi movie plot. It's our quiet economic reality right now. AI isn't some fiery robot apocalypse coming to destroy us. It's moving quietly, and it's already replacing very specific tasks across multiple industries as we speak.
So here is our roadmap for this explainer. 1. The AI panic. 2. Tasks versus entire jobs. 3. Industries under pressure. 4. The psychological toll. And finally, 5. The human advantage.
Let's dive right into Section 1, the AI panic, fear versus reality. Now, historically speaking, technology replacing jobs is completely normal. In fact, it's basically the entire story of human progress. Think about it. The Industrial Revolution came along and replaced massive amounts of manual labor. Factories completely changed manufacturing. Then cars entirely wiped out the horse and buggy industries. Later on, computers automated huge swaths of analog office work. Every single major technological shift disrupts jobs. We know this. But AI feels entirely different to us psychologically, doesn't it? And that's because it specifically targets cognitive work, not just physical labor. Machines lifting heavy boxes? We're totally fine with that. But machines writing, coding, designing, analyzing, and communicating? Well, that feels deeply personal. It crosses this invisible boundary into what we always thought made us uniquely human.
But we really have to separate the science fiction from the actual science here. We have to understand something super fundamental. AI is not magic consciousness. Modern AI systems are essentially just incredibly powerful prediction engines. That is really it. They analyze massive, mind-boggling amounts of data, and then they generate outputs rapidly, whether that's text, images, code, voice, or video. It feels incredibly shocking to us because tasks we always assumed required uniquely human intelligence are suddenly becoming partially automated. But remember, this is all driven by cold mathematics and data, not some magical thinking mind.
Moving on to Section 2, tasks versus entire jobs, and the unbundling of work.
So the crucial point is right here. If you take away anything from this entire explainer, please let it be this. A job is actually just a bundle of multiple individual tasks. When people start panicking, they immediately imagine a shining robot walking in and taking over their entire job title on day one. But that's not how this works. AI unbundles the work. It isolates and replaces very specific tasks long before it ever threatens an entire career.
Let's look at a really practical example, like deconstructing a lawyer's job. Step 1 might be document review, right? Reading thousands of pages just to find a single obscure clause. Well, that repetitive task is increasingly being automated. But step 2 is complex strategy, and step 3 is building client trust. Those remain fiercely human. So the lawyer doesn't just vanish into thin air. Instead, their daily workflow completely transforms around this new efficiency.
You have to remember that under capitalism, businesses are relentlessly trying to reduce costs, save time, and eliminate human error. So when you look at a typical workday, those repetitive digital tasks are highly vulnerable right now. Companies are heavily incentivized to automate that specific slice of the pie. Obviously, humans are still desperately needed for the strategy, the leadership, and the nuanced relationships, but that highly repetitive digital slice of our day, yeah, that's shrinking fast. Which brings us to Section 3, industries under pressure and rapid restructuring.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how AI behaves so differently depending on the field. In creative fields, AI can generate concepts for art and music, drastically lowering the time it takes to produce something. In coding, it auto-completes complex syntax. In customer support, it handles basic troubleshooting.
The professionals in these fields aren't disappearing tomorrow, but their individual output is literally multiplying. And when productivity rises that sharply across the board, the entire industry is forced to restructure.
So why exactly is AI such an irresistible force to a company's balance sheet? Well, think about it. AI doesn't need sleep. There are zero salary negotiations. It literally never gets emotionally tired after dealing with an angry customer, and it's never going to steal your lunch from the break room fridge. When you take these highly automatable interactions and you multiply them globally across millions of instances, companies start seeing savings that are just impossible to ignore. And look, this extends way beyond just digital desk jobs. Think about trucking, logistics, and transportation. These sectors employ absolutely massive numbers of people globally. Self-driving technology eventually threatens these huge physical industries too. And this is exactly why discussions around automation become highly politically sensitive. We aren't just talking about a software update here. We are talking about entire global communities and local economies that depend heavily on these vulnerable industries for their basic survival. That leads us into Section 4, the psychological toll, identity and anxiety. And this brilliantly illustrates why AI discussions get so emotional, so incredibly fast. For most of us, a job is not just a paycheck. It deeply connects to our identity, our status, our sense of purpose, and our self-worth. Modern society ties so much of our human value directly to our productivity. So, when a machine threatens your career, you aren't just experiencing financial fear, you're experiencing a direct attack on your perceived place in the world.
Plus, there is another fascinating, yet deeply unsettling psychological factor at play here. AI is often exposing just how much of our modern, white-collar jobs actually involve pure repetition. Think about it. Many people went to school for years and sincerely believed their day-to-day work was uniquely complex, right up until AI came along and automated parts of it surprisingly quickly. Discovering that your supposedly complex, specialized work was actually highly repetitive, that is a very tough, emotionally unsettling pill to swallow.
We also have to impartially address a really uncomfortable truth here, which is the risk of widening inequality. AI may actually increase inequality initially, because the people and companies controlling the AI infrastructure are gaining enormous economic leverage. Wealth tends to concentrate further at the top for those top performers, while the broader labor force faces a very real, very painful period of transition as they try to adapt.
Finally, let's look at Section 5, the human advantage. What we still absolutely dominate.
Despite all this rapid progress, humans still absolutely dominate in the marketplace when it comes to deep trust, social intelligence, physical adaptability, complex ethics, and true leadership. An AI can process 1 billion data points in a second, sure, but we still emotionally crave human storytelling. We want original taste. We want genuine cultural understanding. In a future world that might be flooded with cheap, artificial content, genuine human connection is going to become an absolute premium.
But to get there, our systems absolutely must evolve. Most of our schools were designed for the industrial era, right? They focus heavily on memorization and repetition. Well, we have to stop training humans to act like robots because the robots are already here. The most valuable skills going forward are adaptability, critical thinking, and high emotional intelligence. And history really does provide a blueprint for us here. The internet definitely killed off legacy industries, but it also birthed a massive, unprecedented digital economy. AI is no different. Remember, humans are still building and guiding these systems. We are already seeing entirely new economies emerge, things like prompt engineering, AI safety, and specialized roles focused entirely on human-AI collaboration.
Which brings me to a thought I really want to emphasize. The future won't belong entirely to humans or machines. The biggest disruption we're facing isn't some sci-fi robot takeover. It is simply our society struggling to adapt fast enough to a world where machines can suddenly perform tasks we firmly believed were uniquely ours.
We are genuinely talking about fundamentally reshaping civilization here. AI challenges one of humanity's oldest assumptions, that cognitive ability and intelligence automatically guarantee an enormous labor advantage and economic value. For centuries, that was the absolute truth. Now, machines can perform those cognitive tasks too. That profound philosophical shift completely changes our centuries-old understanding of work, wealth, identity, and honestly, the very meaning of human usefulness itself.
So the next time you hear someone either screaming that AI is going to replace literally everyone or living in complete denial saying it changes absolutely nothing, I want you to remember this explainer. The future belongs to those who adapt the fastest. So I'll leave you with this final provocative thought. Moving forward, how will you work with both?